My loving audience take my love and subscribes my channel. And dive B&B stories. You guys, we have to talk about the sheer absolute insanity of what Wyatt Spencer just did. Imagine walking into a high-stakes meeting with your billionaire father and just casually reaching into your pocket to pull out $100 million. I'm not talking about a check or a wire transfer. I am talking about a blue diamond so massive it literally has its own history book. Wyatt didn't have it in a briefcase. He didn't have a security team. He just had it tucked in his jeans like it was a pack of gum. Have you ever heard of anything more Spencer in your life? It honestly makes you wonder if this was a bold power move, or just total reckless madness. Is Wyatt being a genius here, or has he completely lost his mind? Let's set the stage because the drama is absolutely peaking right now. We've got Bill Spencer, the dollar bill we all know, and he's out for blood. He wants to crush Forrester Creations, and he's using the new House of Logan to do it. But he needs a dagger to make them bleed. And that dagger is the hope for the future diamond. Now Wyatt shows up with Shauna Fulton. Remember her? The woman the Forresters treat like a total pariah? Wyatt is advocating for her, calling her seriously talented. And then Shauna shows Bill her jewelry collection. Bill looks at it and calls it elegant. I mean, think about that for a second. Bill Spencer, who only cares about the best of the best, is calling Shauna's work elegant. The funny thing is, even Bill and Liam admit these pieces remind them of Quinn Fuller. Is Shauna just a Quinn-like replacement for Bill's business schemes? Or does she actually have the chops to lead a line? The real shocker, though, is how Wyatt handled the diamond. Bill told Wyatt that if he could get the HFTF gem, Shauna's line would get the green light. And Wyatt just whipped it out. He's been carrying it this whole time. Why would a man carry a $100 million asset in his pocket? Honestly, it feels like Wyatt has a hard time letting go. This diamond isn't just a rock to him. It's the physical memory of his romance with Hope Logan back in 2013. By keeping it so close, literally on his person, it's like he's holding onto a piece of his past that he isn't ready to put in a vault yet. Psychologically fascinating, right? He's using a romantic relic as a corporate weapon. It shows a level of attachment that is honestly a little bit sinister when you think about the pressure he's putting on Hope. And what about Hope? She is literally hyperventilating in the other room. She feels like she is stabbing her mother, Brooke, in the back. And she kind of is. Brooke is over at Forrester celebrating the return of the HFTF line, totally clueless that her own daughter has defected to the rival house. Hope is struggling with so much guilt, but then you have Katie Logan acting like a total corporate shark. Katie is the one whispering in Hope's ear, telling her, there is no turning back now because the contracts are signed. It turns out Katie is the real power player here, not Bill. She's the one who already greenlit Shauna's jewelry and a fragrance line while Bill was still playing games with the diamond. Katie has evolved into this ruthless mastermind who is willing to use her own niece to take down the Forresters. Do you think Katie is right to push Hope this hard? Or is she just using her as a shield for her own revenge? Now let's talk about that diamond's history because it makes this whole pocket reveal even wilder. This thing was willed to Wyatt by a guy named Ricardo Montemare back in 2014. Ricardo believed the gem had magical powers that could lead people to their destinies. Wyatt used that magic to charm Hope years ago, even orchestrating a fake heist to look like a hero. So, for Wyatt to pull it out now and tell Hope to wear it on the runway, that is a huge psychological trigger. He's forcing her to step into her destiny while she's betraying her family. It's like he's crowning her the queen of a new empire, but the crown is made of stolen history. But here is where it gets really juicy. There are rumors flying around that Wyatt might be scamming everyone. Remember when he showed Liam a replica first? Some fans are wondering if the diamond he pulled out of his pocket is even the real one. Think about it. If you had the real thing, would you really just keep it in a little sack in your jeans? Wyatt is gloating about his connections, but he could be playing a much deeper game. If he's using a fake to satisfy Bill's ego while keeping the real one safe, he is a lot craftier than we give him credit for. But if Bill finds out he's been handed a piece of glass while he's trying to make Forrester bleed, the fallout is going to be nuclear. What do you think? Is Wyatt actually holding the real deal, or is he pulling a fast one on his dad?
The actual runway show was a total ambush. The Forresters were all sitting in their conference room, eating way too much fruit and wondering where Hope was. Zen was there, totally excited to be the lead designer for a line that Hope had already walked away from. It was honestly painful to watch him toast to a future that was already dead. And then, the live stream starts. For a million people are watching. Katie walks out in a black power suit and drops the bombshell. The creative visionary behind the whole collection is Hope Logan. And out walks Hope, wearing that $100 million blue diamond. The look on Brooke's face? Pure devastation. She literally breathed out, "What is happening?" as her dreams of her daughter coming home crumbled in real time. This wasn't just a fashion show, it was a declaration of war. Hope lit the match, and the Logan-Forrester relationship is basically in ashes now. Brooke is heartbroken, and she's blaming Ridge for losing Hope. But really, Hope made the choice to stand up for herself, even if it meant lying to her mother for weeks. The psychological layer here is so thick. Hope has spent her whole life being the good daughter, the one who follows Brooke's destiny. By wearing Wyatt's diamond on a rival runway, she is finally breaking away, but at what cost? She's got everything she wanted, the fame, the line, the diamond, but she might lose her mother forever. And we can't ignore the Wyatt and Shauna dynamic. Why are they so tight? All of a sudden, Wyatt refused to even work for Bill unless Shauna was hired. Some people are wondering if there's something sinister going on there, or if they're even hooking up. Shauna is a survivor, and she's used fake marriages and baby swapping to get ahead before. Is she just using Wyatt to get to that diamond? Or is Wyatt using her to have a Quinn figure in his life again? Either way, they're a dangerous duo to have in the House of Logan. They bring a level of Vegas grit that the polished Logans aren't used to. Was this really just a simple mistake? Or is Wyatt Spencer pulling off the most expensive con in the history of Los Angeles? Seriously, think about the sheer, absolute audacity of what we just saw on our screens this week. We're talking about $100 million here, guys. That is not a typo. $100 million. And Wyatt just casually reached into his denim pocket, pulled out a little velvet sack, and loosened the strings like he was about to show off a cool marble he found on the beach. We have to ask ourselves the big question. Is Wyatt Spencer actually carrying the legendary Hope for the future diamond, or is he playing his own father for a fool with a piece of high-end glass? The answer to that question isn't just about some shiny jewelry. It's about the survival of the Logan fashion house and whether Wyatt has officially entered his villain era. Stick with me because we are going to tear this diamond apart, metaphorically of course, and look at why every single sign points to a massive Spencer scam that is about to blow up in everyone's face. Let's get some context here because the way this whole thing went down was incredibly suspicious from the jump. Bill Spencer has been acting like a man possessed lately, summoning Wyatt back to town specifically to act as his heavy artillery in this war against the Forresters. Bill told Wyatt flat out that the hope for the future diamond was the dagger he needed to make Forrester bleed. And look at the timing of this discovery. Wyatt doesn't find the diamond when Bill first asks him to go looking. He doesn't even have it when he's catching up with his brother, Liam, earlier in the month. But then, he magically discovers it right when Bill offers to back Shauna Fulton's new jewelry line. Honestly, if that doesn't set off your too good to be true alarm, nothing will. Why did this happen right at that exact moment? It's because Wyatt is incredibly protective of Shauna. He refused to even take a job at the new company unless Bill hired her, too. This wasn't some lucky business discovery. It feels like a tactical delivery designed specifically to get Shauna exactly what she wanted. Now, we have to look at the massive red flag that the show practically waved in our faces a few episodes ago. Do you remember when Wyatt sat down with Liam? He showed his brother a gem that had Liam absolutely floored.
Liam was impressed, he was convinced, and then Wyatt laughed it off and admitted it was actually just a replica. Liam even admitted that he was fooled for a second. So we know for a fact that Wyatt has a fake that can pass the brother test. Why would the writers include that specific scene if they weren't opening the door for some serious trickery later on? It's a classic bait-and-switch move. Wyatt showed the audience he had a replica so that when he pulls out the real one for Bill later, we're supposed to be left wondering which one is actually which. Psychologically, Wyatt is in a very strange place right now. He's coming back to a family where he's often felt like the spare son compared to Liam, and he's trying to carve out a permanent space for himself and Shauna. By delivering the diamond to Bill, he becomes the hero of the Spencer empire. He gets the glory, he gets the deal for Shauna, and he gets to be the one who finally makes Bill a happy camper. Wyatt's ego is clearly tied to being the guy with the connections, the guy who can pull strings that even Bill Spencer can't reach. But that kind of pressure leads to desperate moves. If Wyatt couldn't find the real stone, which has been missing or in some mystery vault for years, would he really tell Bill no and risk Shauna's career? Probably not. It's far more likely he's hoping to fool everyone long enough to get through the fashion show and figure out the rest later. Can we talk about Bill's reaction for a minute? This is a guy who prides himself on being the ultimate shark, yet he looked at the diamond Wyatt pulled out and basically just compared it to a picture on his laptop screen. He said it looks like the same one and that was good enough for him. Bill is so blinded by his hatred for the dressmaker, Ridge, and his desire to upstage the Forresters that he's lost his usual skepticism. He's salivating over the headlines this diamond will generate, and that greed is making him vulnerable. It's honestly kind of delicious to see the great Bill Spencer potentially being scammed by his own kid because he's too busy plotting a runway ambush to actually verify his assets. There's also this whole plausible deniability thing that Wyatt keeps throwing around like a shield. When people ask him how he got the diamond, he just smirks and says he won't reveal his sources. In my opinion, that is corporate speak for, I'm lying and I don't want to get caught. If it were the real diamond, Wyatt would surely have a paper trail, security logs, and a legitimate story about how he reclaimed his inheritance from the Ricardo Montemayor estate. By staying vague, he's giving himself an out. If the truth comes out later, he can claim he was simply misled by his connections. It's a cowardly way to play a high-stakes game, and it really makes you lose a bit of respect for Wyatt as a businessman, even if you love the drama it brings. Internally, Wyatt has to be feeling a massive amount of stress right now. He's walking around with a loaded weapon that could explode at any moment. Every time Hope Logan touches that diamond, Wyatt must be holding his breath. Think about the emotional weight here. This diamond is supposed to have magical powers that lead people to their destinies. If Wyatt is using a fake, he's essentially mocking the memory of Ricardo Montemayor and the romantic history he once shared with Hope. He's using a symbol of destiny to build a fashion line based on a lie. That is a heavy psychological burden to carry in your pocket. Does he feel guilty? Or has his time away from Ella turned him into someone who values the win more than the truth? We also have to consider Shauna Fulton's role in all of this. Spoilers have suggested that Shauna might even be in on the plan. She is desperately trying to lock in this Logan deal, and she knows that the diamond is the only thing that made Bill say yes. Shauna has a history of shady dealings like baby swapping and fake marriages, so a replica diamond scam is right up her alley. If she and Wyatt are as tight as everyone says, they might have cooked this up together in Vegas. It would explain why Wyatt is so protective of her. They aren't just business partners. They might be co-conspirators in a $100 million fraud. The funny thing is, the Spencer family keeps saying Shauna's jewelry reminds them of Quinn Fuller. Well, Quinn was the queen of the long con, so maybe Shauna is just living up to the family legacy. The stakes reached a breaking point at the Logan fashion show. We saw Hope walk out on that runway, looking absolutely stunning with the diamond around her neck. The Forresters were left speechless. Brooke Logan was hyperventilating watching the live stream, and Zen was back at the office having his heart broken in real time. Imagine the fallout if in the middle of all that glory someone, maybe a real jeweler or a rival like Steffi, notices something is off about the stone. If the diamond is a replica, then the entire house of Logan is built on a foundation of sand. 4 million people were watching that live stream. If it's a fake, Wyatt hasn't just lied to his dad. He's lied to the entire world. This brings us to a really interesting psychological layer regarding Hope. She is already struggling with so much guilt about betraying her own mother and keeping secrets from Brooke. She feels like she's lighting a match to her family legacy. If she eventually finds out that the diamond she wore, the symbol of her new destiny, was a cheap imitation, it will destroy her. Hope believes in the magic of that stone because of what Ricardo told her years ago. To have Wyatt use that belief against her just to help Bill win a corporate war is incredibly cruel. It turns their special history into just another business tool, and that might be the thing that finally breaks the bond between Wyatt and Hope for good. My interpretation of this whole situation is that Wyatt is trying to save himself by being the man who provides the impossible. He's been gone for years, His relationship with Flo is over, and he's returned to a family that has mostly moved on without him. He needs to be relevant. He needs to be the game changer. If that means passing off a replica as the real hope for the future diamond, then in his mind, the ends justify the means. He thinks he's being a true Spencer by being sneaky, but he's forgotten that Bill Spencer usually catches the people who lie to him. Wyatt is playing with fire, and Bill is the kind of guy who will burn the whole house down if he feels disrespected by his own son.
The escalation is already happening right under our noses. We've got Donna Logan feeling uneasy and trying to pull the plug because she's so uncomfortable with the secrets being kept. We've got Katie Logan acting like a ruthless corporate mastermind who has already greenlit contracts based on the assumption that this diamond is the real deal. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a jeweler's saw. If the diamond is a fake, the Logan brand isn't just a rival to Forrester, it's a fraud. And once the Forresters get a whiff of that, they won't just ice out hope. They will sue the Spencers into oblivion. Here is my big prediction for the future. The trickery door that the show opened isn't going to stay open for long. I think someone is going to demand a formal appraisal for insurance purposes. You can't just have a $100 million asset sitting in a fashion house without some serious paperwork. When the insurance company sends over an expert to verify the stone, Wyatt's world is going to crumble. He'll have to choose between coming clean to Bill and letting Shauna take the fall, or doubling down on the lie and risking prison time for fraud. Either way, that smug smirk he's been wearing is going to vanish pretty quickly. And let's look at the future impact on the family. If this diamond is a replica, it's going to trigger a sister war between Brooke and Katie that LA will never forget. Brooke is already devastated that Hope stabbed her in the back, but if she finds out Katie and Wyatt used a fake diamond to lure Hope away from Forrester, Brooke will go scorched earth. She will make it her life's mission to ensure the Logan label fails. The betrayal isn't just about fashion. It's about the fact that Katie is leading her niece into a trap built on Wyatt's lies. The Logan family is officially a battlefield, and this diamond, real or fake, is the bomb that's going to destroy the piece forever. Think about the history of this gem and why it matters so much. Back in 2013, Wyatt and his mom Quinn actually went to Mexico to charm Ricardo Montemayor into loaning it. Ricardo was this guy who truly believed that the diamond could lead people to their destinies. Wyatt gave it to Hope in front of the press and vowed that one day he'd marry her and give her that ring. Later, when Ricardo died under some mysterious circumstances in 2014, he willed the stone to Wyatt because he didn't have any family left. There was even some suspicion back then that Quinn might have had a hand in Ricardo's death just to get that diamond for Wyatt. So, this rock is literally soaked in blood and manipulation. Do you really think Wyatt would just carry something that cursed and that valuable in his pocket like it's a loose penny? The psychological layer here is just so heavy. Wyatt used this diamond to steal Hope away from Liam in the first place. He even orchestrated a fake heist back in the day just to look like a hero in front of her. He's a guy who isn't afraid to use trickery to get the girl he wants. So, if he's using a replica now to get her into the Logan fashion house, it's just history repeating itself. He's obsessed with the idea of destiny, but his version of destiny is something he has to manufacture through lies. It makes you wonder if Wyatt can ever be successful or happy without some kind of con running in the background. If you want to keep up with every single bombshell and runway ambush on the bold and the beautiful, you know what to do. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a deep dive into the fashion world's darkest secrets. Tap the notification bell so you're the first to know when the replica truth finally drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we find out if Brooke finally explodes.